First, I would like to welcome you to the Scenesters podcast, and we really appreciate both of you being with us today. In case anyone in our audience has no idea who you are, on YouTube, you are known as Security 9886, and on TikTok, you're Security 1275. And your videos are, to say the least, freaky as hell. Would you two like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so I go by Security, and this is Moose.
Okay, your videos show what seem to be ghosts, and you can hear crazy sounds and screams and general scary stuff. So I guess the first thing I want to point out is that you're just regular people, right? You work for a security company and you have a history of being a police officer and a firefighter, but you aren't just like a regular, what people would refer to as a rent-a-cop. You're like a more advanced version. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. I work for the school system. I do substitute, but I'm about to become a full-time right now. I'm about to become full-time in a second, so.
Oh, well, congratulations. I used to be a substitute teacher years ago. That takes a stronger person than I am.
That's fun for me with the alternative kids.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a whole new world right there. Yeah, I wish you luck.
I take ghosts and goblins any day.
Seriously. So to be clear, you aren't just some random TikTok user or YouTube user that's just trying to get views, right? Up until this point, did you have a TikTok or a YouTube channel?
I did. I've had the TikTok I've had my TikTok for a while. Once we took the patrols in this cemetery, it's really creepy out here at night. So I started just really having fun with my TikTok videos. And ever since I started doing that, that's when it's got more and more stuff is happening.
Now I'm biased here because I think your videos are super fantastic and creepy. What made you, was there like a certain event that kind of made you want to start filming these? Was it like a tipping off point?
Yes, we got, my company got a call from the police department. We were told they wanted to dispatch an officer out here to check out a woman who was screaming in the cemetery. They didn't have any available officers in the vicinity. So when I came out here, that was the initial video that I started doing. It was just supposed to be creepy, and I was just making it clear that this was the creepiest video. Mm-hmm. And then it just turned into a kid walking down the street in the middle of the night, then a kid running from me. At that point, we converged with the police department, and we got police officers out here to really help us search better because, 5 or 6 people are better than just one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody was ever found. They never can see that. We've heard different stories from different officers that have worked out here that have just drove by. They just don't even acknowledge it anymore. That's what they said. It just scares the hell out of them. So they just keep going. They pretend like they don't see it, but I've acknowledged.
So even the police are like, nope, ain't doing that today.
Exactly. Yes.
Not today, Satan.
Exactly correct.
I want to point out here also that your original TikTok channel was deleted because someone happened to see your gun, which you have assured us is you're legally allowed to use in your job.
Yes.
Was there a lot of videos like lost forever because of that, or were you able to save some?
Most of them were saved that were loaded up to my iPhone. I was able to put back on there so people would know who I was. But yeah, somebody saw somebody saw my weapon. Mm-hmm. So they freaked about it. So yes, I am licensed by the state of Georgia to carry a weapon. That is a part of my job. Yes.
And I would assume that if someone is a crazy person, they wouldn't let them carry a weapon.
Exactly.
In more than one video, we see what appear to be people kind of ducking in and out of corners in the darkness, but you don't seem to actually notice them until after the fact when you're reviewing it. Some people have said that this is proof that your videos are staged, but you seem to work closely with the Savannah Police Department, and I'm assuming that you've shown them these videos.
Correct. I have a brother that's a police officer. I'm not going to give any names, but yes, he's seen it. My boss has seen it. They just say it's the exact same things that they have been seeing, but I just messed up and started acknowledging it.
That's crazy.
As far as people go, I don't ever see these people. That's the biggest problem. Like most of the time when some of my recordings are going off and I'm faintly hearing voices, but then I go back and I listen to the video and it's so much louder. It's almost like somebody's just screaming in there. Yeah. These are very faint. I mean, even Moose here can tell you that these are very faint things that we're hearing. And then we go back and listen to it, and it's just as plain as day. And that's what bothers us, that we're like, okay, how come we didn't hear all that? How come we couldn't put all that together until we saw this video?
Yeah, were they closer than I thought?
Exactly. How were they standing on top of us? Yes, I mean, exactly.
There's one thing that's very common in like the whole community of like what was the supernatural. Whereas like when you record things, because of the equipment not working on like, because our ears work like so delicately, they can't pick everything up. Whereas a piece of equipment is very like hard and bassy, like it tends to pick things up more that's there that you
Correct.
wouldn't naturally hear.
Right.
That's the common belief anyway. I'm gonna
I
back
mean,
silent.
that could even explain why we're not seeing these people. Like maybe somebody had told me that maybe the iPhones, the pixels, and the amount of stuff that it's got in it, maybe it's picking up something that I'm not noticing with my human eye.
I've been to Savannah several times and I love it down there, but there's definitely, there's some creepy spots up in there.
Exactly.
Up until this point, had you had any other supernatural experiences down there?
Not anything that I've ever paid much attention to. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that you see something that catches your eyes and then you just kind of drive on and ignore it. That initially happened when I first came down here, but that was my biggest thing. I was always ignoring it. And now all of a sudden I've started videoing it, and now it's just like it's just becoming more and more unbelievable. That's the best way I can put it.
It's almost as if you've lifted the veil.
Exactly. Like I've said, okay, I'm acknowledging you now, so come and talk to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss.
Well, you got to remember, like Savannah has a long history because, like, this area is settled by the Gullas and the Geechees from here up. So, like, they do a lot of blood rituals, you know.
Yeah.
And two, also, this area has a rich history, would have a rich history of ghosts and, you know, horror stories.
Yep.
Due to, like, we have here a thing called crying time. And if you don't know the story of crying time during slavery, like two brothers inherited a fortune of plantation from their father, and they squandered it. What they did was they had to sell off all their slaves. So when they got down there, it's a racetrack that used to be down here. And if you ever come to Burger King, you'll see their painting of the races that happened in the 1900s. Well, before that, what they used the racetrack for was they did a selling of all his slaves.
Yeah.
And what was happening was they were tearing families apart. You know,
my God.
Mothers here sending fathers there. And, you know, that right there. And they said during that whole time that Savannah flooded because God was crying.
Oh, wow.
And when the last slave was sold, the sun came out.
Correct.
Oh, my gosh. That is heartbreaking.
Right when the last slave was sold, the day stopped, the sun came out. It was dreary for like 2 or 3 days, and it was flooded. It was like, and then all of a sudden, when the last slave was sold, the sun came out, and everything was just fine.
Yep, it's a true story.
That is so bizarre.
There's actually a square in downtown right now that they said that they took slaves. It was a burial for the slaves, and there's like over 1,000 people buried in this square where people just walk around. They have, you know, benches out there. They have street lights. It's just a pretty little place. You would have no idea that there was 1,000 people underneath your feet. And that's what I've learned about Savannah, too, from talking to different...
there's an ugly history.
Yeah, there's a very ugly history. The way they established everything here.
They have one where when they had the battle here in Savannah, they didn't expect Savannah to grow past the area right there, the riverfront. So they buried the soldiers where they lay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you talk about the cemetery where they have the tombstones, and they're talking about the Confederate and the soldiers' tombstones, that was created later. But what happened was when they buried them where they lay, they started building the city, and they built it over top of their bodies.
Exactly.
So it's just built over thousands of people.
Yes.
And two, they have here called the elephant tree.
Yes.
And the elephant tree is it was a tree that the trunk, not the trunk, but the branches. In Savannah, the branches are like, you know, trees down here have very thick branches.
Yeah.
And they swoop down. This particular tree swoops down. That's because it was said to have the best. It was the best tree for hanging. So what they did was they would hang blacks from the tree so much, like they would take pictures of them. They would have picnics beside them and everything, stuff like that. That the tree limbs grew hanging down, so it was swooped down. It was used so much. And if you see a lot of, out there in Coffee Bluff, I think it's out there in Coffee Bluff. you look at it, like the tree, a lot of blacks, like they take pictures beside the tree and stuff like that. They have wet, but they don't really know the connotation behind the tree.
They just think it's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of stuff here in Savannah.
The people from like California and stuff that are watching my TikToks and, oh, this is fake and all that, they have no idea what has actually gone on here in the past couple hundred years. You know what I'm saying? They have no idea what's been going on here since they established this city.
If you go through, you got to remember, Savannah is the oldest city in Georgia because it was Milledgeville. And what you can see, if you ever go to Milledgeville, you'll see the remnants of like where they burned stuff. Because still stuff is still there, like concrete monuments that didn't totally burn down. But like when he came across the General
Sherman Smart.
When he came across, he burned down Atlanta, he burned down Milledgeville, he burned down all
Savannah's the only one, that's history, but Savannah's the only one he didn't do it to. So,
but the kicker on that, like the reason he didn't do it,
because of the hospitality.
Yeah, but also here's the crazy part about that: the Wesleyan Church.
Yeah.
Okay, the first church down here, I forgot the guy that started it was two brothers, but the brother that started the Wesleyan Church, the church he first pastored that was here in Savannah. When Sherman came through, he took and he used that church as his horse stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of history.
Also, in cahoots with the Sherman's March too. Most people will ask me if this cemetery is Bonaventure. They ask me if it's what's that one that's downtown next to the big police station? Colonial Cemetery. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, Colonial Cemetery has got a lot of history too because they have tombs that are out there. They have tombs out there that are dated back to before this was even a country. So you're talking about it's very, very old. But the tombs that they have out there, Sherman's people used to actually go out there and would remove the bodies from that and then start fires inside of that tomb that they had so that they could keep warm. So there's a lot of disrespect stuff that goes on around here in Savannah with people as far as the dead goes.
And a lot of stuff happens, even coming up to current day, and which is current but not so current. If you there was a book and a movie called
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was that's true.
That showed a lot of the voodoo that like in New Orleans and stuff. People are very open with the voodoo stuff. We have a lot of voodoo stuff here, but it's very closeted. It's very hidden. People don't talk about it. People pretend like it doesn't go on around here. So we have evil stuff that's going on out here. There's no doubt about that.
Like being around here, you get a different feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Savannah is, I'd like to call it, and I've heard people say it, and I agree with them. They say the United States of Chatham County.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah, and it is what it is because like you come down here, it's totally different. And the irony of the thing is that it's such a remnant. It's such similar. It's so similar to New Orleans that people had to leave New Orleans due to Katrina,
they came here.
They came here and they felt at home.
Yeah, it was like them going to a second home.
Yeah, correct. And it was funny because they were used to the land, they were used to the work, and they were used to the way things moved.
The heat.
Because it was so similar to New Orleans.
Yeah, the heat down there, that's something different, man. Like, I live in Georgia, too, but we're on West Georgia. Right. Our heat's a different beast than what y'all have. Y'all have, I couldn't do it.
I mean, well, imagine wearing a duty belt and a bulletproof vest, and it's
exactly
freeze out here. I mean, it's like you're sweating balls, it's horrible. It's awful.
I swear. Okay, so in one of your more recent videos where you had set the camera up in the mausoleum and then you left, in the video itself, you hear an extremely loud and incredibly close female scream, a banging, scraping, other noises. You hear them extremely close.
Correct.
Were you able to, there was nothing there. I'm assuming you didn't hear anything while you were gone.
I didn't hear anything while I was gone. I actually went to an apartment complex that we actually work at. I went over there to back up. There was a fight that was going on. I was going over there to back up one of my security guards. That's why it was so long. I was only going to leave my phone there for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then it turned into like 20-something minutes. So no, I didn't hear. I was unaware of anything at that point. Once it uploaded, I started going back and playing it, and then that's when I started hearing it. That right there gave me chills. Like, that was not cool. That was so unbodied sounding. That was so unhuman sounding. And the crying and the way that the scream was just too freaking real. You know what I mean? Like too scary.
Yeah, I had my headphones on listening to it, and I was like, nope, no.
Exactly.
What you also want to remember, back in those days, there were people who fell into deep comas,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they would fall into deep comas, and their heart rate would slow down so slow that it wouldn't be picked up by a doctor, by a stethoscope. So they were pronounced dead.
Yep.
But then they would wake up. And imagine you wake up and you're buried. You're
Yeah.
in a tomb, and you're locked in a tomb, or you're buried, and like they've opened up caskets where people have raided caskets,
Mhm.
and saw that there was somebody had been where they had scratched to the bone
Yeah.
Oh my
trying
God.
to get their way out, where they woke up in the casket and they're underground, or they're in the tomb and they're trying to scratch their way out, and they die from.
Like horrible. Like that's a horrible way to die.
Yeah.
I mean, around America, I say here, we have many different stories
Yes.
that like they talk about the passage between the the Appalachian Mountains,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they have where the guy he was like the last one to live because they separated, and like he separated from the party, his party separated from the party, and the way he went, like they ended up getting snowed in, and when they found him, he had done cooked down, like he had done became to survive, he had to become a cannibal. Because
Mhm.
whenever somebody would die, they would have to eat that person. If you ever listen to in Mississippi, they have in Natchez, Mississippi, they have what they call the Devil's Punch Bowl.
Mhm.
And what has happened there was when slavery ended, they had a bunch of people in Natchez, Mississippi, said that you can come here and be if you're a freed slave, come here and be an equal citizen. Work for what you you earn. You'll be treated fairly. Well, there was a lot of blacks that thought that was true, so they came, and when they got there, they had dug out a big hole, and there was a big encampment. What do they call it? The camp.
Hell, I don't know. I've never
No,
paid any attention to that story.
Concentration camp.
camp.
It was a concentration camp. They wouldn't feed them or nothing, but they made them live down in this hole. And there was like over 20,000 freed slaves died down in that hole.
Oh my God.
So if you ever get a chance, look up the Mississippi Devil's Punch Bowl.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
look up Devil's Punch Bowl. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
I mean, we have these stories around.
Oh yeah.
If you ever come to Savannah and you come to this cemetery, you will find it. There's something here.
Yeah,
Well-
I don't know what it is. I mean, I've heard whispering. I've heard people walking behind me. I've drew my weapon several times. I mean, not knowing what I was fixing to come around the corner to, or see something go around the corner and you have no idea. But anyways, I guess you can go ahead with your questions. I'm sorry.
Well, it was actually getting to that. You've said before that the Catholic Church owns the cemetery. Did they give you guys a heads up that this is the kind of stuff you'd be dealing with?
No, we were only told that we were supposed to patrol here, keep people out after 9 o'clock. When we weren't here, they would have police patrols. Just check around, make sure. Because in 2013, there was a body that was stolen from here. It's still an open investigation. There was another one that they couldn't get into the casket to take that one, so it was actually put back where it was supposed to be. But the woman's body was never found.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But we didn't
Like-
know. All we were told was grave robbing, that they have problems with people stealing stuff. And I do know a couple of years ago, they dug up a body and they stole some jewelry and they pawned it, but the police caught them. Yeah, it was just briefly. That was the kind of stuff they told us.
Wow. That's a low person, man. That's a special
It's
kind
true.
of horrible. Okay, so like the boss, your bosses,
Correct.
what do they think about all of this?
Well, my boss is from New York City. He said he patrolled the cemetery up there when he was in law enforcement, and he said he never experienced anything. He said, but yet I come down here 40 years later and come to Savannah, and the shit starts happening. So, he says I'm crazy. Be safe. He tells me to pray. He tells me to do all this stuff. He's like, don't get out of your car as much as possible. If you can't, you don't have to. We're pretty much crazy. That's what he says.
Yeah.
So,
And there's one, and I don't know if you have it recorded. He was outside the car, and I had fell asleep in the car, and I woke up, and it was and I turned around, and I could feel something.
like presence, yeah, like something heavy on top of you.
Yeah, and I had to tell him to get in the car. It was like I could, how you could,
You sense danger almost.
Yeah.
You sense something's not quite right.
You know,
just
Yeah.
believe.
I'm not Peter Parker. I ain't got no spider senses. But whatever it was, I was tingling right then.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
And you said too that you've had coworkers like straight up quit, right?
Yes. We did have a guy quit, yes, for the sole fact of this place. He just didn't like it. He wanted to go to the military. He said he'd rather be shot at than come out here and deal with this crap. That's pretty much what he told me.
Now, that tells you a lot right there.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Now, have either one of you had an experience yet that has given you pause to the point where you're like, nope, I'm not doing this. I cannot do this anymore.
It's getting to that point with me, but it's not. I'm really hoping to the point that we really just don't take this contract. And like, honestly, like if they want us just to drive through here, that's fine and dandy. But I mean, if the police officers are not going to get out, and I'm not down in the police officers, but if they're not going to get out and do the same thing that we're doing for the same reason, because they don't want to do it because they're scared. I don't know why a security guard would want to do it, but as far as right now, no, I'm fine with it. I'm content with it at this point.
You've invited viewers to like come down and investigate and basically giving them the here, prove me wrong, see it for yourself type of,
Absolutely.
response. If people wish to do that, they definitely need to contact you beforehand so you don't have just a bunch of folks running around the cemetery at nighttime. So how can they actually, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yes, the YouTube channel is good, or my Twitter account is the same as my YouTube. That's the best way to send me a message, because that way, if I'm not working, I can kind of come out here and like walk you around, and then I could also let the office know, and I can let the police department know, and I can let my boss know that I'm going to be out here, and that there's nothing foul going on out here. We're not doing anything illegal.
Okay.
And two, because if you come out here and you walking around,
you're subject to arrest at some point in time.
That's the least of your worries.
Yes.
You got to think about it. Due to the stuff that's happening out here, we're already on heightened. We're on a level of heightened security. You walking around. So if you run and you pop up around the corner, it might.
It could be a dangerous situation. Yeah.
You might get.
You might get tased. You might get. I mean, it could be anything. Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot you and run.
Exactly. So last night, you had posted a video, and there was a female voice, and it sounded like she kept saying the name Sarah. Did you
Correct.
guys happen to go back and look at the markers in the mausoleum to see if there was anybody named Sarah?
The body that was taken from here, her middle name was Sarah.
Oh my God, no way.
We just figured that out. I don't want to give a first. I'm not going to give a last name just
Yeah.
due to respect reasons, because it's still an
Yeah.
ongoing investigation with the police. But that was her middle name, and we cleared that up yesterday. Actually, we were talking about that it was, that's what was scary about the whole thing.
I want to add as well to that it's quite a common thing that people will tend to go by their middle names rather than their actual first names.
Correct.
So maybe that
is a Southern thing too, because me and my sister are both that way. We go by our middle names instead of our 1st.
Correct. Yes, you're correct.
The scream that was outside, you heard that scream, right? Outside of the mausoleum. Did you find anything?
When I heard this, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one that was when I went inside the church and told me to get out?
No, well, we'll get to that one because that was freaky too. Last night in your video, you and Moose had both taken the camera and gone out, and y'all were kind of looking around, and then you had said that you hear that scream.
No, we didn't find that. That's why I was. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. That's That sounds so ungodly. Like Moose went to one side, I went to the other side because we thought maybe somebody was messing with us and we were going to cut them off. If that was our tactic, we were going to do is cut them off. And I just heard this really weird, almost like a devilish scream. And that's when I started yelling at him, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And at first he didn't answer me. So no, we didn't find anything. That was the problem.
Yeah, and you got to think about how we felt like when that happened. I don't know if you remember the movie Signs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember when Mel Gibson and the dude that played his son, they ran around the house, right?
Trying to corner because they thought it was teenagers. Yeah.
And then they ran around the house and they couldn't corner it. How we felt, and that's how we feel a lot of times. Because when we come into something that we can't deal with,
it's a team effort. We're trying to basically trap it. I mean, we're trying to get it.
Yeah, that would terrify me even more if I couldn't identify this. I mean, it'd be bad enough if you ran up on somebody running around and you heard something and then you cannot find it. No.
Like it
Correct.
adds more to the whole idea that there's gonna be people out there that are gonna be like, oh well, this is definitely fake. There is people like that, but I'm more of the opinion that this is genuinely real for the simple fact that if you're trying to corner someone and get them in an actual corner and then they disappear, no human being can do that, and
No.
you can't fake that kind of stuff because you're filming yourself trying to catch whatever the hell it is.
Exactly.
And the voice that yelled at you to get out of the chapel, that, to me, it didn't sound like a human.
No. It was all I could do not to shit on myself, to be honest with you. Like that was so blatantly, just loud and ordering me to get the hell out of there. That's how I felt about that. That was like my daddy yelling at me, telling me to get the hell out, get my hand out of the cookie jar. You know, it wanted me the fuck out of there, and he wanted me out of there immediately.
And you're just like, yes, sir, I'm going.
I was like, absolutely. I closed the fucking door. I logged that in. Have a good night. You know, bye. I mean, hope you have a good sleep. Go do what you got to go do. I got to go. I left. I mean, I'm not sticking around for that.
I don't blame you. Well, unless anyone else has any questions, I think that pretty much sums up everything that I wanted to ask. Noodles, do you have anything else?
I mean, I'm more curious about, like, you know, security, no disrespect, my man, we kind of see what you're dealing with, but, Moose, is there anything that you've seen that maybe security hasn't been aware of that you would particularly, like, has stuck out to you that you feel uncomfortable with?
Not really. I get feelings. I don't see stuff, but there was one night where, like, matter of fact, it was the one night that I told him, I was not looking at him, but I woke up. And I said, get in the car. And when he said that, he said, do you see that? And it was like his phone went out. So it was like his phone and his stuff stopped working.
Yes.
But it was something standing on top of like a tombstone or something like that.
And it hunched down. I remember that. It hunkered down to the point, but it was so black, like it was just a figure within the darkness. But I do want to tell y'all one creepy thing that happened. The taser that I carry has lithium batteries in it.
Mm-hmm.
They are brand new batteries, my taser that I have. It's supposed to keep a good year charge. I'm supposed to have like 25, shocks from it. I never shocked it. I've never used it on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
When I was using my flashlight when I deployed my taser out one time when I was looking for somebody, like I wanted to go the most unlethal way I could if it was a kid or if it was something like that. Cause I really wanted to catch this person. I'm literally saying that in my videos. I hope I catch this son of a bitch. I want this person so bad I can't stand it because that's what I convinced myself. My lithium batteries in my taser died completely. Along with my flashlight quit working. I bought a brand new flashlight. I've had the same issues. I've had the same issues.
You see that in the
last video. The flashlights will go off.
He's trying to cut the flashlight on.
And it slap it, hit it, it'll dim up. And then as soon as we leave the cemetery, I have no problems with my flashlight. The same with my telephone. The cell phone will be at 100%. I'll get out, and there's no way. I've had my battery checked. I've replaced my batteries and everything, all of my equipment that I have.
I have a follow-up question.
I never have that problem.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Okay.
Since your equipment's not working, at those times when it's not worked, have you felt cold? Has the area around you felt cold?
That's once or twice that's happened, but most of the time it gets very heavy. That's all I can say. It gets almost like really heavy to the point, like you'll be walking somewhere and you'll just feel like it's hard to breathe and then you almost want to cry.
Mm.
Like that's all I can describe it. Like I almost just want to cry. And I'm not a crier, but I almost just want to cry. Like something is just deeply upset me.
Yesterday we closed the doors.
Oh yeah, and they came back open.
Yeah, we came back around and the doors was open.
I'm standing wide the fuck open, like standing there wide open. I'm not.
Yeah, if you watch
like,
the tape,
propped everything. It was ridiculous. No noise. We weren't even far away. That's the problem.
We looked up and I said, "Hold on, didn't you close that door?"
Exactly.
Yeah, and those doors, they squeak. It seems like all the doors around there squeak super loud.
They make a horrible, god-awful noise. You can hear that door open from a mile away from this place. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Wow. So it feels almost like you're talking about the heaviness. It's almost like an oppressive feeling. Like it's hard to breathe, hard to.
Very much so. I had fans come from Tennessee that walked around out here with me.
And he said it was this one tree.
Yeah, he kept talking about this tree. He kept saying this tree that he kept walking up. He just felt very uncomfortable. We have a lot of oak trees in this place that are old oak trees.
And when we say old, like oak trees, like, like trees don't last, they last 60 years, 70 years.
You've got some that are 100, 200, 200 or 300 years old. I mean, they're old trees.
So they've been here for a minute. Like, they've been here for a while. And, like, I know, like only other time I felt the feeling like this, I went to Wormslow. And as I point back to slavery, they used to hang, like, Wormslow has, like, a road that goes down a pathway.
Yeah.
And
that's where they filmed Forrest Gump, actually.
Yeah. All right, you remember the Forrest Gump when he was running?
That's Wormsley. Yeah, that's Wormsley.
All right, well, the trees, what they used to do was like
Line them up.
Yeah. Well, what they would do was, if you go to a city, they put like the snowflakes and the stuff on the side of the telephone
For
pole.
Christmas
Mhm.
decorations.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
they used to do was hang slaves.
For decoration purposes.
Oh
For
my
decoration.
God.
Yeah, going down the side. So like when they had visitors from up north come, they would hang slaves, and you would go down, and they would you could see them
It was like a Christmas tree decoration, like you're taking your
Yeah.
kids out to see the lights for Christmas. Yeah, it was disgusting.
That's what
I mean,
that's where picnic comes from.
Good God Almighty! I can't imagine anybody being that twisted to be like, "Oh, this is fun." Like, what
You'd
kind of
be
history
surprised.
do we
Well,
have?
I'm a historian,
Hmm.
so like knowing the European history it's kind of it's actually how things go. It
Yeah.
goes hand in hand because face it, like in Europe we had Vlad the Impaler,
Hmm.
and he used to do that, and he would do that to scare. He would take, and when he captured somebody, to scare them from people from coming into
decapitate them and he'd put them on top of the sticks. That's
No,
what
he would decapitate him. Yeah, he would take the what's name and push it through their body
Oh,
while
yeah.
they're still living.
That's where Count Dracula came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. His son was named Dracul.
Yeah.
So
That is
that's where
insane.
Dracula come from. Is his son's name is Dracul.
With that, I just really want to thank both of you for coming on and talking to us, and we really look forward to more of your videos.
Absolutely.
I also hope you guys are safe out there because
we
it
try,
sounds-
yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't y'all come visit?
Yeah, definitely
Huh?
come visit.
Yeah. I mean, my husband and I were thinking about coming down there, like, taking a day trip and like hanging out, but
Yep.
I don't know. I might be too scared. We'll have to find out. We're going to make sure to post all of your social media stuff down in the description below so everybody will know where to go and find you. And I also want to add that, honestly, if this turns out to be like an elaborate hoax that you pulled a fast one on everybody, good on you, because the content that you're putting out is solid. So real or fake, it is spectacular. So either way, dude.
Gotcha.
But yeah, thank you again. And we look forward to whatever else you have coming for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That concludes our interview with Security 9886. That was some really interesting stuff. What do you guys think? Noodles?
I mean, I'm leaning more towards him being like authentic than anything else, because like to me, the whole situation kind of feels like if it was fake, right? Because there's been a lot of comments, a lot of speculation online that it's fake, hasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, yeah, like I feel, because like I'm like the resident skeptic almost, where like a lot of this stuff I'll be like, oh well, and I'll kind of look at it through a skeptic's eyes, but like I've got experiences with the supernatural. I talked about it last time, and I've got family who have dealt with that kind of stuff, and it's like I feel more inclined to believe supernatural stuff than like aliens and things. Maybe that's just me. Like I don't know, but I feel more leaning towards like either he's being pranked by someone who's really good, or it's real what he's dealing with. That's kind of freaky. The history around the area was good to listen to.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Moose, he seems to be a really interesting guy.
Yeah.
Nat, what do you think?
Oh my God, that interview was amazing. And it's just insane. Like the history is just so bad, so ugly, that I'm not surprised like that stuff are happening to them. Especially, like, okay, that was mean. Like the church didn't tell them what they were gonna deal with at all. Like that was so mean. Like, how you gonna do that to me? Like I would be like that too. Like, because it's so scary what they are dealing with.
Can we just appreciate for a minute that's the perfect setup for a freaking horror movie? They're like some guy, some poor schmuck just gets a job handed to him. His higher up's like, yeah, just go. No, don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Oh god, dude, you've got my sympathy. You've got my sympathy. I do not envy you your work at all. Jesus.
Me either. I mean, you would think that they'd be paying them double for this because this is a little extreme. But Savannah itself has a long history of like violent and downright sad stuff. Do you guys think that maybe that lends itself to there being more supernatural experiences than other places?
Yes. Yes, I believe it. Because all that, negative vibe and like all that violence and killing, it's just like the perfect home for like spirits that they don't have closure. It's so bad.
Like I know places like that like tend to hold a lot of like the energy in the air. Like I know like people who've been to places like in Germany, like the camps and stuff that you can tour. And when you go there, you can't hear birds singing. Like there's no animals, there's no wildlife in the direct vicinity of these places because the energy of like pain and suffering is just so pure. It echoes through time, and I can understand why like a cemetery in that kind in that kind of area where there's a history of like bad things that have happened is like I can understand why there might be more activity in that kind of place than in like say down the local chip shop where someone's at a party. But yeah, like
Yeah.
That's interesting though that you say that because, talking about the birds and animals not making any noise in those areas. Because he's mentioned before in like certain areas of the cemetery, he said it's nighttime, and I mean, living in Georgia, we have got cicada and all kinds of great sounding things at nighttime. They're just loud, like legit loud. And he said there's times when he's walking through the cemetery to where it'll get quiet and it's almost like you enter a dead spot. He said you can hear stuff outside of this bubble, but right where something is happening, he says there is no sound.
yeah, like animals feel that stuff. I'm serious. Animals feel that stuff. Like
Definitely, yeah.
I'm wondering too what exactly is the cause that the spirits hang out in the cemetery. I mean, they didn't die there, so why would their spirits hang out? It would almost be like you wreck a car, it's totaled, it goes to the junkyard, but then you go to the junkyard every day just to hang around the wrecked car. I mean, if the body is just, just like a vessel, yeah, I wouldn't think that a spirit would hang out attached to this vessel.
maybe it's like a natural human thing to want to be around other humans though, because like that's a place where a lot of people are. Like so, it's not just you on your own kind of thing. So you'd want to go there to like rest with other people, and like maybe they've got unfinished business, they can't settle, and they just kind of stick around where people are.
Or it could just be the overall feeling of like mourning in that area. Because I mean, mourning itself, grief, that's a powerful emotion.
Yeah, that's very true.
Now, we recorded this interview last week. However, today I spoke with security this afternoon, and he told me something pretty interesting that I haven't told you guys yet. Apparently, a few years ago, Moose had open heart surgery, and he actually died on the table. He was obviously brought back, but since then, he's pretty much been more attuned to seeing and experiencing the supernatural things. He said that when he was a kid that he used to experience this stuff, but it was very mild. But since, he died and came back, it's definitely intensified. What do you guys think about that?
Oh my gosh. That is insane. I'm glad that he was brought back, but like the fact that now he's feeling stuff and like, with the supernatural and everything, it definitely must be because like he died for a little bit. Like that's something very interesting because like there's some stories out there that are kind of like that, and you have seen it in movies too and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy that that's happening to him.
Mm-hmm. Pretty crazy.
I mean, I remember there being like a saying about something like that where like if like what was it? If you open a door, you'll still be able to look through the window when the door's closed again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember something. I think that's from a book. I can't remember what book. If someone knows what book, let me know in the comments. But I think that's from a book, and it's like someone in the book died and came back, and they could kind of see ghosts. Like it was a supernatural book. I think maybe like there's some legitimacy to that because he's not the only person who would claim that. Like there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who've said that kind of stuff, and it's like I think there's something to it.
Yeah, there must be. I mean, it has to be something.
I mean, look at when he was asleep in the car and he woke up and was telling the other guy, get in the car. Security, get in the car. Like, you know, he woke up from that because he could feel it, where security didn't.
And
Yeah.
And last night, actually, there was a video that they had posted where security he was off work, but he was at the cemetery and he had fans from like North Carolina, I believe, that had come down there. And Moose had been down there earlier in the evening and he called, he had left and gone to his different job, but then he called back and told security, I got a bad feeling you guys need to leave. Something just came over me and you guys need to leave. Y'all need to leave now. And security was like, okay. So, so he trusts his friend, he trusts his friend's feeling. And that does make, that kind of talks about the bond that they have too, that, he would trust his friend's feeling and motivation on that. But maybe that's what it is that I had mentioned before that once security started acknowledging the weird stuff, more and more started happening, almost like he had lifted the veil. Well, maybe it's because Moose actually stepped through that veil at one point. Maybe that's the reason he kind of gets these intense feelings, almost like messages.
I mean, like, maybe you've got a point there. Maybe it's not actually security who's, like, dealing with the haunting stuff. And, like, I know he said the police officers and things are all not really interested in going there because of it. But, like, what if Moose is the one attracting everything? He's, like, the magnet.
You know what? Like, I believe it. Moose, after, like, experiencing that, he seems to be, like, a magnet for, creepy stuff. Which kind of makes me feel bad because, like, I wouldn't wish anyone to experience something that scary.
It's like when you're playing Pokemon Go and you drop a lure and then things start popping up. Moose is the lure.
Oh, no, Moose. I'm sorry, bud.
I know. I feel bad. Like, oh, no.
Like, I kind of feel like, there's, like, the whole thing around, like, people stay behind because they've got unfinished business. If, like, he gives off the thing, like, I can kind of sense you're here, I can see you. Maybe they're coming to him to try and finish the business. And, like, that's why he would be a magnet.
Yeah, maybe so. They're like, hey, you can sense me. You know that I'm here, type of thing. Like, hey, could we use you as a microphone?
Oh, Moose, man.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they could. I know it's really scary, but like maybe they could do some videos trying to talk to something out there and see what they come up with. I think I would do it, even though I would be so scared, like a lot, especially with what security say, like he heard like this horrible female scream and everything. Like, yeah, that honestly, he's so brave to even still doing this job because I don't think I could handle it myself.
And I would almost say that it both seems like a good and a horrible idea for Moose to be like, hey, if you have unfinished business, come and tell me, because yeah, there may be some spirits out there that are generally okay, but I kind of get the feeling from what they've said, like the oppressive feeling and the dark image, and he felt like something was on top of him, and the voice that came out of that chapel telling them to leave that time. I kind of get the feeling that there's some serious, like, dark energy there that you probably don't want to really speak to or interact with more than you have to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it if I was Moose. I'd keep that door as tightly shut as I possibly could.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like with the really dark energy that may be going around there, yeah, never mind, Moose, don't listen to me. Please don't do it.
Yeah, no,
Please
don't do that.
save yourself.
No.
I do know that from, I believe it was either Twitter or TikTok, one of the two he posted, they're not going to re-up this contract to actually do this at the cemetery anymore. So I don't know if that means that the videos are going to come to an end or if he's going to continue going out and doing things, because it seems as if now he's more interested in it. So I guess we'll have to see where he goes from here. It's going to be interesting to watch.
He's just gonna like start his own Ghost Hunters TV show, and we're gonna be like the people promoting it, just like, hey, come and check this out.
Exactly.
You know what? Though,
I
I
know
would watch
he's-
that. I would watch that.
I
so
would
hard.
too. I would too, just because they seem so fun and so nice and so like,
Yeah.
it seems like I would enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I would definitely see it too.
They're quite entertaining gentlemen as well. To be fair,
Yeah, they seem like they'd be fun to hang out with.
like I could
Oh,
listen to them talk all
definitely.
day.
Yes, me too. Like they seem like really nice people, and like honestly, Moose is truly a historian. Like he knows his history, which
Yeah.
is so interesting.
That adds like another element of like depth, because if he is having like legitimate experiences with the dead, that would almost make you want to be more it would make you want to research more about history to find out, okay, who could this be from what era,
Yeah.
you
You also got to be careful with that stuff though, because you don't want to like know too much about it and it be miffed with you.
Yeah,
Like-
that's true.
Yeah, Moose,
Yeah.
don't look into demons, please, for the love of God, don't.
Please, we want you safe.
Yeah, please stay safe.
Yeah, don't open yourself up to that.
No. I guess the only thing that like I want to know more about is like the whole grave robbing thing. Like you said, oh well, this has happened once, and it's like they've had it a couple of times. Wait, like is there a thing with grave robbing happening in this place? Like,
Yeah, that does seem kind of dark. I mean, if he said that they tried to pawn the jewelry. If it's just, people stealing jewelry and stuff off of the dead, I mean, that in and in itself is bad enough.
yeah,
But if they're then doing something nefarious with the body, with the corpse, that's even worse because, he had mentioned Sarah. She
Yeah.
was the body who was stolen and never came back.
why take the body?
Yeah. What did you do with it?
Like if you're just taking jewelry, or like you're just taking the stuff off of her, like to sell it or whatever. Okay, like you're a dick, but at least you not took the body. Like why take the body? What if she wasn't taken? Just saying.
What if she just got up and walked out of there?
Yeah. You never know.
That's true. You never do know.
Yeah. Freaking like vampires and zombies and all that shit. No, like being serious, like it's more than likely someone's took her. And I don't know what they've done with her, but they've took her. And then I don't know, there's always that thought in the back of your mind of just like, what if she just nope, I'm out of this. Nope. Maybe she's too scared of the haunting herself.
Mhm.
Even the dead lady.
Around that area, because Savannah is right on the coast, so there is a lot of marsh areas, swampy areas. Then you have the Savannah River that leads directly out into the ocean. I mean, somebody could have probably, with relative ease, disposed of her body in the ocean. But then again, you can't just chunk a body into the water at the beach and expect it not to come back because, I mean, you have
Yeah.
the waves to deal with. So.
Even
I
then, it's
know,
like,
that's-
what's the point of taking the body from a grave to go and shove it? Like,
Yeah,
there's no reason for it.
it's just
Uh,
horrible.
I don't know. Maybe something to do, who knows, a cult or something? I don't know, they're weird. So
No,
they
no,
do creepy
No.
Well, I mean, he did mention that, it's kept quiet, but they do have instances of voodoo down there. So,
Look at that. Nope. Bye.
So we're of the opinion now that like there's a cult that's robbing corpses and doing voodoo with them. Fantastic. Run for your lives, please.
you never know. You never know.
Exactly. You never know. So please, the cutie moose, be careful.
Yeah, please.
But I mean, with that, do we have anything else we want to add to it? other than, be safe, Moose, don't talk to the dead people, maybe you're a magnet, watch out?
Well, the last thing I want to say, I don't know, maybe it sounds selfish or anything, but deep down, I still want more videos.
Yeah.
I still want to see what goes on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want more videos. I think they're great. And I mean, Moose, you seem awesome, dude. Because I mean, just the fact that you're going to go on to be a teacher for kids in an alternative school, that is commendable. I mean, that is,
Yes.
you're a good human. And security, it seems like, you're a good guy also. It seems like you're just trying to, live your life and, do what you can and be an honest, good person. And it comes across in your videos, and so that's appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just genuinely nice guys who are interesting to talk to and listen to, and like it's authentic,
Mhm.
Like it's just some dude living daily life, doing a 9 to 5, occasionally dealing with some creepy shit, but
Yeah.
And I mean, they were nice enough to stop by and do an interview with
Yeah.
us on this fledgling podcast, and so I really, really, really want to extend, my gratitude to them for that.
Same.
Yes. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. You're awesome. Stay safe.
Absolutely. Stay safe. So, I guess with that, we can wrap it up. Again, this has been Betty Tucker and Talia and Noodles, and we are in conclusion of our interview with Security 9886, and we want to thank everyone for listening to us this far, and hope that you come back for our next podcast, which should be on this coming Sunday, which should be the 28th. And we look forward to seeing you then. So if that's all, oh wait, we didn't hear from Kevin. Kevin, do you have anything to add?
Disappointed.
Fantastic, Kevin. You never disappoint us. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.